it's Becca. So depending on where you're joining me from, it might be your afternoon or evening. Say hi, wherever you are in the world. I like to know where people are joining me from. As always, you can leave me any questions or comments behind. And so we're going to be talking about our chakras today. I don't know if you guys have heard about the chakras. You might have seen pictures or things like that, maybe not really knowing what they are. You know, they're probably related to yoga somehow, but you're not really sure what they are. So for the next 8 weeks, 7 weeks after this, we're going to be doing a chakra yoga series. And today is the introduction. So I'm going to introduce you a little bit to what the chakras are, and then as we go along week by week, we're going to be introducing one chakra at a time as building blocks, building from the ground up and understanding it a little bit better, and in turn understanding ourselves a little bit on a deeper level, which is kind of cool. So I don't know if you've seen a picture of the chakras system before, but it kind of looks like this. Oh, if you guys can see that. So all of those different colors and sphere shape in the human body, they're stacked in an order up the spine. And they say that they're stacked in places where there's huge nerve ganglions. So a nerve output of some sort from the spine, which is kind of cool. There are more chakras. These are the major ones, and there's 7. They are more on our fingertips, our hands, our feet, and our shoulders, and in different areas around our body, but we're just going to be focusing on the main ones. So, chakras were originated 4,000 years ago in India, and they were brought to the Western world or Western society in the 1920s by an author named Arthur Avalon. And since then, they've grown into we've adopted the chakras in our Western world to life today, not then, which is really cool. One of my favorite authors, her name is Anodia Judith. She is a psychologist and a yoga practitioner, which goes deep into the chakra system, and is also a counselor. And she uses this chakra system as building blocks for self-awareness and in multi-dimensions for understanding yourself and what you're going through, body, mind, a little bit differently, and splitting it up between phases, which is kind of cool. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next 7 weeks. So I have a quote here from one of her books that I'll read you, and it might make you understand a little bit better. So the chakra system sends us on a journey through the multi-dimensions of the self. When looking at the many dimensions, this journey allows us to make connection between the mind and body, like we know as in yoga. Through the practice of pranayama, or intentional breathing, or meditation, which is the silent observations of the mind and body, and through movement, such as our asana practice or our physical movement, we begin to understand ourselves deeper, right? Based on that deeper understanding, you can then make steps into transforming the self. As you transform the self, you transform your world and the world around you. Which is a very cool thought, right? How can the chakras do this? And this is what we're going to learn in the next 7 weeks. I use this as a very effective tool to get through and to understand where I am struggling, and it separates it into pieces. And that way I have a focus on where my struggles or my challenges lie. And then I can get a little deeper into that and pick it out, which is a very cool tool that chakras can give you. So the chakras aren't physical entities themselves. We really don't have balls or discs up through the spine. They're meant as just a metaphor to guiding your mind to a place and sending energy and thoughts to a place in the body and relating it to something else. So as we start from the ground up, our first chakra is the Muladhara chakra, and it is related to the color red, and it is at the base of our spine. So as you sit, that grounding spot in the base of your spine, that's where the Muladhara chakra is said to be located. Now, it's what it's related to is our sense of survival, our basic needs, our health. Okay, so in thinking about that, when we think of our first chakra, the Muladhara, or the root chakra in English, if you consider that our sense of survival, say you lost your job and you don't have the means to feed your family or have a roof over your head, that is when the first chakra is severely out of balance. And you know that the foundation of your house is crumbling. Right? If you've been diagnosed with a serious illness, or your health is failing, that foundation for the rest of yourself can be out of balance, right? So that's what the first, or the foundation. I like to look at the chakras as a pyramid. So the first one at the base of our spine is our foundation. It is our sense of survival and living and being. Okay. As we move up, say we got a handle on that sense. We have all our needs. We have our health is okay. We've got a handle on our basic survival. As we move up, we move into the sacral chakra. So our sacrum is kind of where our pelvis is, underneath the belly button. That huge triangular shaped bone at the base of our spine, that's our sacral. So imagine, or for ladies, maybe in the womb area. And that's in Sanskrit, it's called Svadhisthana chakra. And so that one is related to the color orange, and it is actually related to our creativity, our sensuality, our sexuality. So, dysfunction or a lack of creativity or not being able to express yourself creatively. Maybe you have or been through trauma that has given you new sexual dysfunction. Those types of things can, affect our sacral chakra or our Svadhisthana chakra. So bringing that off balance. So looking at that as the next one up. The next one up is our solar plexus chakra, or Manipura, which is just under, or where our diaphragm is, right under the rib cage, right here. Not quite where our heart is. I don't know if you guys can see me. So kind of right here. And that one is related to our willpower, our sense of autonomy, who we are, who we present to the world. And, some people say it's part of our ego as well. So in looking at those things, if you don't have a sure sense of self or who you are, or who you want to be, who you're striving for, maybe, you've had past traumas where you were always told you're wrong, or you're never right, or you get punished for being you. Okay, so those types of things can throw that chakra off. It is the color yellow is represented in that chakra, the Manipura or solar plexus chakra. Coming up from there, I bet you can guess, it is right here, Anahata, our heart chakra. And I bet you can know what that is related to. So many deep feelings we think, or as in, our society, come from the heart, right? That is a well-known one, right? Our heart tells a big story. And that one is related to, yeah, you got it, love. And not only love for others and love for our world around us, but one of the most important part is love for ourselves. Okay. So, if you are struggling with finding compassion for yourself for whatever reason, you have some negative self-talk, or, you're negative to people around you, or you can't find compassion for people around you, that's the chakra that would be unbalanced at the moment. And we are going to look, as we go on through the weeks, we're going to look at each one a little deeper and see how we can get or tune into those ones a little bit more. Okay, so the next one coming up from our heart is our Vishuddha, or in our throat, okay? And that one is related, the heart chakra, it is related to the color green, okay? As we move up, and the colors kind of, I've seen in different writings and in different scripts that the colors change a little bit. These ones I'm telling you are the most kind of traditional at the moment, but the colors kind of interchange. So throat chakra on the way up, it is related to the color blue, okay? The Vishuddha chakra is related to, you could probably guess, expression, your voice, how you resonate, how you can express yourself using your voice. So things like, you know, not being able to speak, or, you know, losing your voice or your hearing, not being able to express or receive expression, those things can throw off your Vishuddha or throat chakra, for different reasons. And like I said, we're going to get a little deeper into it. I love teaching about the chakras. It's very, very interesting, and you probably will find it interesting too, just to look at different facets and different layers of your life and how you can get into them a little deeper and realize some things that you might not have known about yourself before, how you react to different things, how you respond to different things, how you see yourself and the world around you. And this is just giving building blocks into going deeper on those levels and understanding ourselves, our bodies, our mind a little bit better. The next one coming up from our throat chakra is our third eye chakra. So it's located, if you were to draw a line right between your eyes all the way at the back of the head, and then same thing to the sides, it would be directly into the center of your head. So, and then right in here. So they call it the third eye chakra, or the Ajna chakra. And it is related to our wisdom or our intuition, okay? And that one I find really, really fascinating, our intuition. I use my intuition a lot. And, you know, since going to school, we're kind of told that intuition doesn't stand much ground. It doesn't hold much water, if you will, because it's not a tangible, it's not logical, you can't quantify it by any charts or means, or, right? It's just a gut feeling that you have. And to me, it's based on patterns that you pick up as you go about your day in the world. And the more patterns you pick up, the more intuition you probably have. So think about that a little bit. And related to our wisdom, and it is the color purple. It is related to the color purple, our third eye chakra. Now, as we go up, and our last chakra is the crown chakra, and it's actually not even a part of our body. It is located where our crown would be, just hovering above our head. And I can never pronounce this one right. Sahasrara. And in English, our crown chakra, and it's related to the color lavender. And it is more about our connection to our spirituality, our universe, whatever you connect to, your spiritual connection. And there's no right or wrong to this one, guys. It is what you feel that you are connected to spiritually. Okay. There is no right or wrong to that one. It is all about you and how you connect with your world, or what you see as a higher being, or what's out there for you. And it's how you relate to that and how you feel around that as well, which is a kind of, you know, a cool topic as well. So I am super excited to get into a little deeper with the chakras with you as we go along week by week. So next week, we're going to be starting at the base, or the foundation, the Muladhara, the root chakra, that sense of survival, that, you know, and what those needs are. And we're going to do a little meditation around it and some movement around it. So probably about 2, maybe 3, but I usually only do like 2 postures, that physical posture to relate to that area. And then we're going to get into a short meditation, a little more information about it. I'd love for you guys to share along with me and share your thoughts, your feelings, anything that you can relate to as well. I want it to be a little bit of a interactive series where we can share like that as well. Or if you have questions, please ask. They are also, all the chakras are also related to a hand signal or a mudra. So we're going to learn about that as well. So you've probably seen if in meditation, that people sometimes use like different hand gestures and stuff like that. That's called mudras. And these chakras 4,000 years ago were taught with the mudra as well, the color, the sense of where it is in our body and what we can relate it to, how it may manifest physically, mentally, emotionally, if those places in our body or if that chakra system is off balance. So yeah, it's I'm excited to share this with you, and I hope that you can follow along and see the different facets of your life and the different dimensions of your life and how you react and see yourself and the world around you, and do through a bit of a transformation and a different understanding of yourself using these tools and just a different way to connect our mind and our body through our yoga practice. And this is part of yoga practice. It's just, we see yoga as just the asana or the physical practice. And I like to say that that part is the tip of the iceberg, and you only see the tip of the iceberg, right? You don't see what's underneath the water. So the whole other practice of yoga is, you don't see. It's not a physical practice. It's an emotional, it's a, observing practice. It's getting a little bit deeper, and that's all underneath the layers or underneath the water that you don't see. And it's all related to the practice of yoga. Yoga coming from the word yoke, yoking the mind and the body together so we can work as one and be in tune and hopefully live a better. Okay, that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, please just take care of yourselves, take care of your family, your loved ones, and be grateful. Practice gratitude.